In the early 1990s, Robert Downey Jr. was one of the brightest rising stars in Hollywood. In 1992, his performance in Chaplin earned him an Academy Award nomination, and critics believed he was destined to become one of the greatest actors of his generation. He had talent, fame, and the entire future ahead of him. But success did not last. Throughout the mid and late 1990s, addiction slowly began to take control of his life. The same man who once stood on the red carpet soon found himself standing in courtrooms. By 1996, arrests for drug possession began to dominate headlines. In 1999, he was sentenced to prison after repeated violations of probation. The actor who once represented brilliance had become a warning story in Hollywood. Studios refused to hire him, insurance companies refused to cover him, and many people believed his career was finished. In the eyes of the world, Robert Downey Jr. had gone from hero to zero. But the story did not end there. In the early 2000s, he made a decision that would change everything. Instead of accepting defeat, he chose to rebuild his life from the ground up. Step by step, he fought his addiction, changed his habits, rebuilt his discipline, and slowly regained the trust of the industry that once rejected him. Years passed, and then in 2008, something extraordinary happened. Marvel Studios took a massive risk casting him as Tony Stark in Iron Man. The film became a global phenomenon and launched an entirely new era of cinema. The same actor who had once been rejected by Hollywood suddenly became the face of a billion-dollar franchise and one of the most recognizable characters in modern pop culture. His life had come full circle, hero to zero, and then hero again.
I am Iron Man.
But what makes this story truly powerful is not just the comeback. It is the process behind it. Because Robert Downey Jr. did not rebuild his life through luck or a single opportunity. He rebuilt it through discipline, self-awareness, and a series of deliberate changes that transformed the way he lived. And that raises an important question. What if the same principles that helped Robert Downey Jr. rebuild his life could help you rebuild yours? Because the truth is, addiction does not always come in the form of drugs. Sometimes it appears as endless scrolling, procrastination, lack of focus, or the quiet habit of delaying the life you know you are capable of building. In this video, we will break down the method behind Robert Downey Jr.'s transformation and turn it into a practical, step-by-step system you can apply in your own life. The goal is not just to tell an inspiring story, but to understand the psychology, the discipline, and the habits that allowed someone to rise from complete downfall to global success. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear roadmap for building a disciplined life, overcoming addiction and laziness, and starting your own comeback. Because the greatest comeback story of 2026 might not belong to a Hollywood actor. It might belong to you. Step 1. Radical self-awareness. The first step in every comeback is brutal honesty. For years, Robert Downey Jr. was trapped in addiction, but eventually he reached a point where denial was no longer possible. Psychologists call this moment recognition of problem behavior. Addiction research shows something important about the human brain. When people are addicted to something, drugs, alcohol, social media, or even laziness, the dopamine reward system in the brain becomes hijacked. This system normally motivates us to pursue healthy rewards, like achievement or relationships. But addiction rewires it. Your brain starts prioritizing short-term pleasure over long-term survival. The turning point in recovery begins when the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of the brain, regains control and forces you to face reality. For Robert Downey Jr., that moment came after repeated arrests and legal consequences. He realized something powerful. If he didn't change, his life would collapse completely. And this is where your comeback begins. Ask yourself honestly, what habits are destroying your future? Is it procrastination, endless scrolling, or lack of discipline? Because you cannot fix a problem you refuse to see. Step 2. A non-negotiable decision. Awareness alone is not enough. Real transformation begins with a decision that has no escape route. Around the early 2000s, Robert Downey Jr. decided he was done with drugs. Not temporarily, completely. Psychologists call this stage commitment to change. When someone makes a firm decision to change, the brain activates long-term planning networks in the prefrontal cortex. This shifts thinking from what feels good right now to what will build my future. Most people fail because they leave themselves an option to quit. A comeback requires a different mindset. The moment you decide, the old version of me is finished, everything starts to change. Step 3. Changing the environment. One of the biggest myths about discipline is that it comes from willpower alone. Science says something different. Your environment shapes your behavior far more than your motivation does. Addiction research shows that people relapse when they remain in the same environment that triggered their addiction. The brain builds cue-reward loops. For example, a place, a person, or even a time of day can trigger a craving. Robert Downey Jr. began restructuring his life completely. He removed himself from destructive environments and focused on rebuilding healthier routines. For your comeback in 2026, this principle is critical. Look around your life. Are you surrounded by constant distractions, negative influences, or digital addiction? Changing your environment might be the most powerful step toward discipline, because when temptation disappears, discipline becomes easier. Step 4. Rebuilding discipline through the body. One of the key habits Robert Downey Jr. adopted was intense physical training, including the martial art Wing Chun. This wasn't just about fitness, it was about retraining the brain. Scientific studies show that regular exercise dramatically improves mental health and recovery from addiction. Exercise increases dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. These chemicals restore the brain's reward system. This is important because addiction drains natural dopamine production. When you begin training your body consistently, you rebuild natural motivation and focus. Exercise also strengthens the brain's executive control network, which helps you resist impulses. This is why many high performers begin their day with physical training. It builds discipline at a biological level. Step 5. Mastering the mind. Recovery is not just physical, it is mental. Robert Downey Jr. incorporated meditation and mindfulness practices into his daily routine. Modern neuroscience shows that meditation can literally reshape the brain. Studies using brain scans have found that mindfulness practice reduces activity in the brain's stress center, the amygdala, strengthens the prefrontal cortex, and improves emotional regulation. This means you become better at controlling impulses and staying focused on long-term goals. In other words, meditation strengthens the part of the brain responsible for discipline and self-control. Even 10 minutes of mindfulness a day can gradually change how your brain responds to stress and temptation. Step 6. Building a powerful support system. No great comeback happens alone. One of the most stabilizing forces in Robert Downey Jr.'s life was his relationship with his wife, Susan Downey. Psychologists consistently find that social support is one of the strongest predictors of long-term recovery. Because human behavior is deeply influenced by social environments. People around you can either reinforce bad habits or support positive change. Support systems provide accountability, emotional stability, and motivation during difficult moments. If you want to transform your life in 2026, choose your circle carefully. Your future will often reflect the people you spend the most time with. Step 7. Finding a mission. Finally, Robert Downey Jr. rebuilt his acting career and eventually got the role that changed everything. Marvel Studios took a risk casting him in Iron Man. That role didn't just revive his career, it gave him a powerful mission and identity. Psychologists call this purpose-driven motivation. When people have a meaningful goal, the brain releases dopamine in anticipation of progress. Purpose creates long-term motivation that short-term pleasures cannot compete with. Without a mission, discipline fades. But when your work becomes meaningful, effort becomes natural. Robert Downey Jr. went from addiction, prison, and a destroyed reputation to becoming the face of a billion-dollar film universe. Not because of luck, but because he rebuilt his life step by step. And the same principles apply to anyone. Your past mistakes do not define you. Your next decisions do. So the real question is, will 2026 be just another year? Or will it be the year of your greatest comeback?